Howdy folks, Charlie here from Christmas on Crestline. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for tuning in to a tips and tricks episode. Today I'm going to teach you guys the #1 tip that has saved me 100 hours over the last decade of running a computerized Christmas light show, and it is so simple. The #1 thing that has saved me, well, first of all, let me give this some preface. When you run a computerized Christmas light show, especially string lights, you have just a lot of lights in your front yard. So our 80,000 light show, well, it's 80,000 lights and there's 100 strand per light, so it's 8,000 strands of lights that we're putting up. That is a lot to keep track of. Now in our tree, our red maple, we typically run, it depends, between, I put as many as 20,000 lights up there before. So every year is a little bit different, but the most I've ever had in there was 20,000 lights. That is a lot of lights in that tree to keep track of. It basically turns the brown tree, because there's no leaves on it, turns a brown tree into a dark green tree. You will lose track of your lights up there. They will all blend in, they will all look the same. And in the daylight, these greens look just like the blues, like the whites. You can't tell the difference. There's just too many of them in there. Whether it be a bush or whether it be a prop, you want to instantaneously be able to look and tell what it is you're looking at. Oh, first 122. 122 for today's episode. The #1 thing, the easiest thing you can do, duct tape. Colored duct tape to be exact. What do I mean by that? Well, I have here some green lights. So the green tape. Now obviously this tape is, what, 3 inches wide, right? So, but what I want to do here is I want to mark the ends of these cords. I want to mark the male and the female outlet. So here I got the female outlet, here I get the male outlet. I want to mark these with this tape that color coordinates to the lights. So green lights, green duct tape. It's very easy. I already kind of got this started, but you just tear off about a 1/2 inch, tear it off about 2 inches, and it just wraps right around there. Right, bam, easy, right? What'd that take, 3 seconds? Right, so you go to the female end, do the same thing. Well, what are you taping these for? Color coordinating them, right? Well, they are. Okay, great. Let's add a step, something that's gonna make it even much more better, especially if you have an animated Christmas light show or you have to keep track of a certain strand. A Sharpie and this tape are best friends. So this is strand 1, channel 1, right? So I'm gonna put a 1-1. That tells me it's the first channel and the first strand of this channel. Well, I'm gonna put this up in the tree and it might flip. And this is nothing but green right there. So I wanna make sure I put it on both sides, because when you hang it in the tree, it could flip, you don't know. So, okay, that's great. It's gonna 1-1, you're gonna do that on both ends. The reason why you're gonna do that on both ends, because when you're up in a tree, you're zigging and you're zagging, you're going over here to over there. You may get the male end, you may get the female end. You wanna make sure both are marked just so you know what you're looking at. The other thing is when you're doing these in a tree, channel 3, string 6 may not be able to reach where string 7 needs to go. So you may have to go a little bit out of order, but you want to make sure you're kind of keeping them all tracked. So 1-1 might turn into a 1-3 or a 1-4 if you have to jump around in the tree. So the next strand, right? Kind of just give you another visual. I'm going to take another little bit. Got my female end right here, and I'm going to tape this up. And the reason why you only want to do about a 1/2 inch is because you want it to be at its flat. You don't want it to be cumbersome and block any connections. So you want to make sure it kind of fits the whole surface area that it's letting you have here. Go to the female end. Tape that up. So this is channel 1. This is my second string. So it's going to be a 1 and a 2. Right? I'm going to do that on both sides. 1 and 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So when I'm up in the tree and I'm plugging these in, so I got channel 1, string 1 right here, and then that goes into channel 1, string 2. Oh, bent a little bit there. Bam, so I'm up in a tree and I'm 20 feet off the air. Actually, this is going to be string 1, so it's going to be down on the ground because that's where my power is going to be. But let's say this is channel 5, string 6, and channel 5, string 7, right? I'm up in the tree, I can instantly look at this and I'll know exactly where I'm at. Where that comes in hugely handy is 2 ways. One, if something goes wrong and you put up too many lights or you didn't keep track of your amperage and you have to climb up in the tree or get inside that bush or find out where this is at, and it's 20 degrees outside with 20-mile-an-hour winds and it's horrible to be outside. You don't want to be out there in your Carhartts and be out there all bundled up for 2 hours looking for one strand. You want to be able to instantly tell. This tape is bright enough, it's going to give you, you can look at it and just know, okay, there's my white, that's red, that's a blue. This has saved me so much time. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. This is just blue painter's tape. Blue duct tape is kind of hard to find in my area, so I use painter's tape. Everything else is duct tape. Highly recommend this. The orange, what do I use the orange for? I'm glad you caught that, glad you asked. This is what I use for my strobe lights, because I have string strobes, but I haven't found yellow tape. I'm sure it exists, I haven't found it, so I found the orange tape one time, I'm like, boom, there's my strobes. So I use the orange to differentiate my strobe lights, because my mini strobes, which are phenomenal, and if you haven't watched my unboxing, go watch that, because those strobe lights are freaking phenomenal. And I also just went to the Scotch Test Dummies. If you guys haven't checked it out, their YouTube show, they're huge on YouTube, and they're kind of a comedic whiskey tuber. But I just did an episode with them because they watched my unboxing of my mini lights and invited me on the show, and I strung up Bart's lights for them. Those are phenomenal lights. Highly recommend those. Yeah, so highly recommend doing this. It's a simple trick. It takes what, 30 seconds? And actually less than that. But let's say that you don't do this. You will remember back in this video like I should have done what Charlie suggested. Instead of you'll be out there for 8 hours. I think it's so incredibly frustrating trying to find one strand of lights when you have to find that one strand in order to make your show work. It sucks. Don't do it. Do this instead. Promise it'll be worth it. Today's shout out goes to Darth Shaggy 316, otherwise known as Santa Shaggy, and he commented on our top 5 obscure songs to use for a Christmas light show. He said, those are some fun songs on your list. I think the only one that I have not heard yet is the new cover, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. My favorite song from the Christmas on the Star CD, What Do You Get a Wookiee for Christmas? I can't wait to your next video. I just love silly Christmas songs. And if you don't follow Darth Shaggy, or Santa Shaggy as we know him by, but check out his Facebook page. He's a pretty funny guy. He loves Christmas as much as I do. But that was on our top 5 obscure songs on what to do songs for a Christmas light show. If you guys take this and use it for your own, make sure to take a picture of that. Email it to me at christmasoncrestline@gmail.com, and I'll throw that into a future episode. So I think that's about it for today, guys. I promise this will save you time. I encourage you to use it. Charlie from Christmas on Crestline. See you in the next video, guys.